to you all soon. Take care.
Hello and welcome. My name is Paul Basanti, and I serve as the president of the Chamber of Commerce Brantford Brant and as your moderator for this event. Our chamber is pleased to be the community producer in partnership with Rogers TV, and today the debate features candidates running for Councillor of Ward 2 in the city of Brantford. Our community is facing a number of challenges and issues, and leadership will be key to ensuring our future prosperity. I congratulate all the candidates on their continued commitment to the community, and we look forward to an interesting event. The candidates running in Ward 2 are Gino Caputo, Erica James, Mark Littell, Peter Scheer, who's unable to join us today, John Sless, and Matthew Vandering, who is also unable to join us today. I'm joined on the panel by Andy Straisfeld, a member of the Chamber of Commerce Advocacy Committee, to assist with questions. David Prang, our Chamber CEO, will be the timer for tonight. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to make their opening remarks. The order of speaking was determined by random draw. The panelists will alternate posing questions to the candidates, and each candidate will have the opportunity to respond to each question, and a time limit of 2 minutes for their response will be allowed. In the instance of a candidate making a personal or specific reference to another candidate or their position, that candidate will be allowed a 30-second rebuttal. Following that, each candidate will be provided an opportunity to give a closing remark with a time limit of 1 minute for their remarks. In the case of a challenge, any dispute will be ruled on by myself, the moderator, and I would ask that the candidates adhere to the agreed upon format and display professional and personal decorum throughout the event. The timekeeper will indicate to the candidates when they have 15 seconds remaining to speak and when they have reached their maximum time limit. Thank you very much, and once again, thank you to our candidates. We will begin with opening remarks. Mark Littell.
Thank you, and thank you, President Paul, Andy, and Dave. Thanks to the Chamber of Commerce and Rogers for hosting this event. I think it's valuable for the community, and congrats to all other candidates who put their name on their ballot, which takes a lot of intestinal fortitude for a lack of other. I'm Mark Littell. I've lived in this area all my life. I've lived in Ward 2 in the same home where I raised 3 sons, and I now have 4 grandchildren. They live in the ward, but unfortunately are not old enough to vote. I'm a small businessman in the community, selling party supplies and promotional products, and have employed many people over the years. I served on City Council for most of this area between 2006 and 2010, and am proud of my many accomplishments on Council. Some of these accomplishments include the south side of Colborne, funding for the Waterfront Master Plan, Southwest Recreational Plan. I pride myself in being a leader, but more importantly, a team player. It's important for Council to work as a team, or as I say, there is no I in the word team. I believe in this city, Brantford, and I also believe it's important to give back. I have volunteered and chaired many fine organizations that include Habitat for Humanity, Christmas Baskets, Food Bank, and the Rotary Club of Brantford Sunrise. I currently chair the Brantford Police Services Board and the Brantford Airport Commission. This election is important to the citizens of Brantford and also Ward 2. It has been recognized as a place to grow, and we are the envy of many other cities. Council in the next few years will have many challenges ahead of it, especially with a minimum of 4 to 5 new councillors coming on board. I have the experience, knowledge, and passion to meet that challenge. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And now we'll start with our first question. Andy.
Thanks, Paul. And good evening and greetings to all. The city of Brantford is an age-friendly community, and candidates have been provided with information to assist them in running campaigns that are age-friendly. What additional measures should the city take to provide safe, adequate, and dignified care for older adults and their informal and formal caregivers? What more can the city do to help our seniors age in place and concurrently support our youth to become leaders of an age-friendly community?
And we'll start with you, Mr. Littell.
Thank you. Well, I think that is one area that we are close to doing everything right. we need to take into consideration people's age. We need to take into consideration their mobility as well. They need to be able to get around. They need to be considerate, and and more importantly, keep them involved in the community. The city has several programs that they offer for the age-friendly, and of which I'm one of them, and I use them when I can. But I think the city's doing a lot of things right, but I don't think we need to set it aside.
Moving on to transportation, the signature advocacy priority of the Chamber of Commerce throughout its history has been the improvement of transportation infrastructure in our region. What are the key transportation infrastructure projects that you have led or are willing to commit to leading as a councillor in Ward 2? Thank you, Mr. Littell.
Thank you very much. We definitely need to, one of the first priorities on council is to have a look at how we can move people better. The problem areas are Gretzky and Clarence, Brand Ave, and King George Road. I know that there's other cities that are involved, and one of those areas will be enforcement, especially from a parking perspective. But, I know that everybody else has mentioned this, but I was advocating as early as 2008 for a southern bypass, which is the only route to go. The difficulty would be without the province participating. So one of the first things I'd like to do on council is to create a committee to go to the province and work with the County of Brant and work with the Six Nations on how can we do this? How can we get this done? Because traffic is just getting out of control. We're almost at Toronto times to move from one end of the city to the other. I was late coming in here today because of the traffic on West Street. That's my fault, but anyway. The other thing we got to take a serious look at is Via and Go. The Go comes to Brantford now with the bus, but a lot of people won't use it. They drive to Aldershot to get on the Go train there. So the Go would be easy to have an express route like they do from Kitchener with maybe not as many stops, so you're not going to spend 2.5 hours on Go. And Via used to have a late night train and an early train, and they've stopped doing that, and they've started catering just to the business community. There's other people that want to go in for other reasons early in the morning and come back later at night. So definitely work with the federal and provincial governments and our representatives to expand Via and Go. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on. Andy.
Thanks, Paul. As the voice of our members, the largest business organization in the area is the Chamber of Commerce of Brantford Brant, and we frequently hear about the cost of doing business in our community and appreciates that the efforts of the City Council over the years to maintain a focus on one of our signature policies, and that's tax ratio fairness between residential, commercial, and industrial tax ratios. In a post-COVID 2023, what do you see as will be the key challenges to developing in the 2023 municipal budget?
Mr. Littell.
Thank you very much. The one thing that has to be brought forward is fairness to all parties, whether it's industry, commercial, or residential. And I'm hearing at the door on a regular basis that our taxes are out of control, whether it's the car dealer that's paying $400,000 a year in taxes, which is almost $35,000 a month or $1,000 a day, or the homeowner that's paying $7,000 or $8,000 to $10,000 for there. So the one way to do that is to attract more industry. In 2000, and John Sless can help me with this, we brought back where we were trying to bring the industrial commercial tax rate down a little bit because it's a bit high. We have to revisit that. I don't know the last time that it was done. But industry creates jobs, and jobs means more people using our services, which is fine. But industry coming into Brantford also means more revenue for us. Some of the bigger players are paying up to $4 million a year in taxes, and that's the type of industry that we need. Big factories mean jobs. Big factory means good assessment for the city. Thank you.
The Downtown Improvement Task Force and the Downtown Community Improvement Plan are essential to the revitalization of downtown Brantford. However, when underground infrastructure renewal along Colburn and Dalhousie Street begin, the downtown will become to be incredibly difficult to navigate by vehicle and by foot. And this will create tremendous challenges for businesses, as experienced in dozens of nearby communities who have recently undertaken similar, although necessary projects. Notwithstanding the necessity of this need to upgrade the infrastructure, what strategies would you support to minimize the impact on business and public sector services during this very essential work? Thank you, Mr. Littell.
Thank you. I believe the downtown is the heart of the city, and it was allowed to decay for 45, 50 years. And then we were successful when I was on council chairing the committee to take down all the buildings on the south side, which was a start, which led to the catalyst of the Y coming into play. Your question related more to what do we do with the businesses that are down there? Well, now's the time to do something in Colbert Street before they start to develop the rest of the south side, which hopefully will be done. I'd like to participate that as a member of council. But we can work with the businesses to assist them while that disruption is occurring. And also we would be able to move Dalhousie into a two-way street, another contentious issue, to do that. The downtown, I believe, is, as I said, is the heart of the city. It is a student place, a post-secondary, residential, commercial, and entertainment area for the city. And it should be a place to go where people can come down, a variety of restaurants. We can encourage a bunch of restaurants to come down there too, to get them down there to do that. So I think that it's something that this council has to have a serious look at to get it going. One of the things that I was directly involved with was we asked the city for additional funding to provide 6 special constables. 8 special constables, excuse me. So now if you go downtown, you'll see them there. That's a big part for the store owners, the public, and the students to be able to feel safe when they're down there. Thank you.
The Brantford Municipal Airport is an interesting municipal asset. Located in the county and managed by the Airport Commission for the city, there are a number of businesses and organizations that rely on each other and the airport operations to serve our region. How can the city support businesses and education communities that use the airport while capitalizing on the opportunities available on the site? Do you support the airport as an economic development opportunity?
Mr. Littell.
Thank you. You gave me an easy one.
We didn't set the order up.
No, you did give me an easy one, and I appreciate it because I've been involved in that airport for many years. I chair the Airport Commission. And I often said it was told to me that when an industry looks to relocate in the city, they don't just look at the tax base. They're also looking at what entertainment they can have. How are the schools for their children? What are the sports facilities that are available? What are the roads in and out? And do they have an airport? I've got a list that I've had for a long time of the many users that use that facility, and they're numerous. Some easy ones would be the blind school uses it, the Ministry of Natural Resources uses it, the Johnson's Wax has used it, Bell Canada has used it. There's a ton of industry that uses it. And when the city looks to relocate, as I said, they will look at whether or not we have an airport. I brought forward to council this year a visioning statement for the airport. The problem that we have is the airport is located in the county, so the city's customers pay taxes to the county. So we're hoping to work closer with the county on that issue to handle that. So it's a big asset for the city and one that we can't afford to lose.
Residents and businesses in Brantford Brant move between the city and the county all the time, and other municipalities surrounding the city without considering about the ownership of the roads or the imaginary borderlines that cross them sometimes. However, significant gaps remain in our road network and in public transportation in particular to critical employment lands that surround our community. Will you commit to developing a regional transportation master plan during the next term of council with our neighbors and the province to plan for accessible transportation options, including more GO and VIA services?
I would definitely be in support of bringing to council a regional transportation master plan that would include Simcoe, Woodstock, Cambridge, and Hamilton to get the people out of here. We do have major traffic problems with people trying to get out of there, and as I had alluded to in my previous question, was to having Go increase its train service. In 2008, I created a committee to start to bring Go to there. I can't remember who was on the committee with me, but Dave Levac was definitely involved, and it was the catalyst, I think, that got it going. But we need to work with our MPP on that, and I think he would be amenable to that. We also need to work with our MP, who has somewhat influence with VIA, and getting them to increase. But one of the things that's going to happen is they're going to have to look at an express trains, because if otherwise, when you go from Aldershot to down to Union Station, it's an hour and 15 minutes. A lot of people just say, well, I'll stay in my car. So if we didn't have to stop at every location, it would be more significant. But definitely working with the a mayor's committee with other people to talk about that. The more people you have involved, the more municipalities you have involved in a lobbying group, the more things will get done. And sorry, I had one more thing since Dave didn't hold his hand up there. The one thing that needs to be brought back seriously is the 424. That's another problem area, 24 highway coming north and south. There's no reason to get that going. And there is no way for the students to get from Kitchener, Cambridge to Brantford without going through Toronto or Hamilton to get down. It's horrible. Thank you.
Thank you. Andy.
All right, so sticking with economic development, the city's economic development portfolio is diverse, and it includes more than just traditional commercial and industrial sectors. Arts and culture, heritage, and tourism sectors are economic drivers. What would you do to enhance the city's commitment to arts, culture, heritage, and tourism?
Thank you. Mr. Littell.
Thank you. I think that the Economic Development Department over the last few years has been strengthened in a strong way, as you had alluded to them, all of the departments coming in and all the marketing there. Obviously the Economic Development Department, the big thing is to attract more industry. And, there's a lot of factories have opened up. Unfortunately, some of them in warehousing, but the other ones will come along with that. The arts and culture part of the economic development part, a definite. My background is Dutch. They have more museums per capita than anywhere else in the world. And we have a lot of museums. I can't remember the number. I think it's 23 places like that in Brantford to go see. We need to strengthen the Sanderson Center too. When I've showed it to people in the past, they can't believe what an asset we have. And one of the areas to do that might be working very well with the casino to put shows on together and work with them. We have a great opportunity there. Thank you.
Thank you. The City of Brantford is a nearly $250 million corporation, and if elected as councillor, you would hold a very unique voice on a council of just 11 elected to govern this city. Tell us about yourself. What makes you uniquely qualified and the best person for the job? Why do you want to be a city councillor? Mr. Littell.
Thank you. So I think being able to read a balance sheet and an income statement, knowing which one is different and what goes into each column is very important. With my business background, I've been dealing with that. As a councillor, I sat as chair of the finance committee for 1 year, vice chair for 1 year, and so I have an understanding there. The budget, when you talk about 250 million, the problem is it's this many pages. We have to find a way to condense it, to make it easier to understand, to do it in smaller areas. The significant thing, and I believe the city is doing this, is multi-year budgeting. But I think you need some business people on there to understand it. There's no problem with having a wide mixture of people on council, but you should have some business people on there that can read a balance sheet, read an income statement, and the hardest thing to do, especially when all the staff are sitting around you, is to make cuts. And you need somebody that's prepared to make cuts and make decisions on what we can do. We'd like to be everything to everybody. We can't do that. Thank you.
All right. The city of Brantford's success is closely tied to the success of its neighbors in the county of Brant and increasingly the Six Nations of the Grand River. We share boundaries and land use opportunities with both, and in 2017 brought close to 1,700 net hectares of land into the city's boundaries. What are the two key and substantive areas or services that you believe could be improved upon partnering with our neighbors in the county and or the Six Nations of the Grand River, and how can the city improve these relationships?
Mr. Littell, over to you.
I believe we have a good relationship with both partners, with the county and with the Six Nations. I think there's good communication going beyond there. Can we work more closely together? You know, one of the things that I'd said, we'll go back to the airport, is maybe perhaps renaming it the Brantford Six Nations Regional Airport, so that it's partners for all of us to use, share costs, share revenues. There's many areas that we can continue to work more closely with the county and with the Six Nations. Sewer and water is one of them. You know, expansion of lands to the east and west. You know, sharing economic developments strategies, so we both win on that. So there's all kinds of opportunity to work with all of them. And I think having a good relationship and a good speaking relationship and regular meetings helps.
Well, we have time for one final question, and it's about downtown Brantford. Downtown Brantford is an evolving entity, and revitalization of the downtown is a process rather than a destination. How would you propose to work with the Downtown Brantford BIA, the Chamber of Commerce, and businesses to improve the environment for businesses and services in the downtown core? Mr. Littell.
Thank you. Going back to what I said before, and you know, I've devoted a lot of time to the downtown, as you're all aware, and it is the heart of our city. It will be, and it's moving so fast, you know, a post-secondary, residential, commercial, and entertainment area. There will be specialty retail, but you won't see any chain stores or anything going down there, but we can encourage other ones. While we're waiting to develop the south side, and I believe there's some people that are close and tendering on that, while we're waiting for that, it's time to do the infrastructure and get it done, and get it done quick. We need to make sure that the university students, some young people are 17 years of age. We need to make sure they're safe. We've done that through the police department. There are 8 special constables working down there to make it safer in conjunction with the city people. So it has to be, we're there right now. We just need to take that other step, get the infrastructure done, make it a safer area, which we've done, and get some more development down there and get some more restaurants and specialty shops down there. But we're there. Thank you.
Thank you. That is all the time we have for tonight's questions, and the candidates will now be making their closing remarks. I remind the candidates that they have 1 minute for their closing remarks. Mark Littell.
Thanks for taking the time to spend with all of us tonight. I want to represent you at City Hall. I live in the ward, and I'm not afraid to take on a challenge. I have the experience to do this, and I'm up to the challenge. So remember me on October 24th. Thank you.